Now on CoastTV News.
Former Lewis Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo, sources tell CoastTV he's back in the Lewis Fire Department.
New shops get approval along Route 9 after a close county council vote.
Today officially marks 2 years since the war began and left Gaza destroyed. Peace negotiations continue tonight.
And by late tonight, we're expecting some soaking showers to slide through. I'll pinpoint the timing in your neighborhood coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Former embattled Lewis Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo reinstated even though he was removed for 2 years just last month.
Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Our top story tonight, sources tell CoastTV former Lewis Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo has been reinstated into the fire department. Again, even though top department officials called for Buckaloo's resignation last month. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live at the Lewis Fire Department. Emma, the decision to keep Buckaloo was announced to the department last night.
Charlie, multiple sources tell CoastTV News after Fire President Wally Evans announced that Buckaloo was back, members were shocked. One source says you could hear a pin drop up there in the meeting last night. Members say they were confused. They thought Buckaloo was being removed from the department for 2 years. Fire President Wally Evans left members we spoke with shocked. They say shocked because just last month on September 10th, a board member sent this email to the members saying in an emergency meeting, the board voted to remove Buckaloo from the roles of the Lewis Fire Department for 2 years. We spoke with Evans on the phone today. He now calls that email unauthorized and, quote, fake news. Sources say now Buckaloo has gotten his keys back to the fire department and can answer fire calls. Even though on September 5th, Evans, alongside current Fire Chief Robert Stevens, held this press conference and called for Buckaloo to resign. Should Bill Buckaloo resign?
Should Mr. Buckaloo resign? In my opinion, for the best interest of the Lewis Fire Department, it would be good for Mr. Buckaloo to resign.
We reached out to Bill Buckaloo today to try and talk with him. We did not hear back. Reporting live here in Lewis, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
All this comes after Buckaloo had multiple controversies involving Buckaloo during his time at the department. Bill Buckaloo was serving his 5th term as fire chief at the time of his suspension. Back in 2018, Buckaloo was arrested by Lewis police for disorderly conduct after urinating off a dock. And in 2020, while serving as assistant fire chief, Buckaloo was suspended for a Facebook post that included a slur aimed at a drag performer following a show in Rehoboth Beach. That post was later deleted, and Buckaloo issued a public apology. Following Buckaloo's suspension in July, the Lewis Fire Department held an election to pick a new fire chief. Robert Stevens is now currently serving as the fire chief in that role. And full disclosure, the current fire chief, Robert Stevens, is the husband of CoastTV assistant news director and anchor, Madeline Overturf. All of this brings us to our CoastTV poll. We want to know, what's your trust level in the Lewis Fire Department's handling internal affairs? And let's take a look at those results so far. 46% say no trust, 36% say some trust, 12% say very high, and 6% say little trust. Now, if you'd like to go vote in this, the numbers, they might change all throughout the evening. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. You can also leave a comment. Now let's go ahead and take a live look into Lewis. Let's check in with our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, I see some wind whipping that flag around.
Very observant on your part, Charlie, because that's evidence of a cold front trying to push through and bring a little rain our way simultaneously. Now, here's where we stand right now. We're holding at 79 degrees in Lewis. We actually clocked 80 throughout several locations, so we're all in the midst of that summer-like feel outside. It's 69 by late tonight with increasing cloud cover. Look for more cloud cover for tonight, setting the stage for some thunderstorms to hit primarily after midnight, to be quite honest. But we do have an active small craft advisory that's going to stay in effect at least thus far until 8 o'clock for Wednesday. We're watching out for about 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And we see the cloud cover pushing through, coming in from the west. And then we're going to keep a close eye on this line of storms that's going to eventually slide its way towards us as the high-pressure system loses its influence on our immediate weather pattern. Coming up, we'll talk about the timing and the intensity of the storms headed our way. Till then, back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Delaware State Police have identified 20-year-old Tamia Gordon as the person who died in the Magnolia shooting on September 30th. Troopers say around 7:30 p.m. they responded to a report of a shooting at the 800 block of Mill Chop Lane. When they got there, DSP found Gordon with a gunshot wound. Later, she was pronounced dead. Troopers say 23-year-old Chase Washington was handling the loaded firearm recklessly when it went off and Gordon was hit. Washington was charged with manslaughter and firearm possession felonies and is on a $100,000 cash bond.
If you drive through Selbyville, take a look at the screen. This is the street DelDOT says will be closing for sewer, water main, and curb work. Bayard Road, specifically between Zion Church Road and Old Mill Bridge Road, is closing starting October 20th. DelDOT says that will last for about a month, and there will be detours in place. Route 9 and Beaver Dam Road in Lewis. That is where the Northstar development would be in the field you see there, across from the Vineyards development. The plan includes houses, apartments, and new tonight, after today's county council meeting, commercial space. Coast TV News reporter Christina DeRobertis is live there in Lewis. Christina, council voted in favor of that zoning change.
Yes, Maddie, and that means, like you said, developers can now build commercial businesses on the Northstar property, which is right behind us here. To give you a full idea, we're on Route 9, and across the way, it's all of this property is the Northstar property. We're across the street at the Vineyards where there's already commercial businesses. So with this approval today, it means there could be commercial shops on both sides of the highway. Now, the county council voted 3-2 in favor of the zoning change. Those who supported it say people living in the area need more places to shop, and since homes and apartments were already approved with the project, people will need stores close by without getting on Route 1. Council members Jane Grunebaum and John Riley voted against the zoning change, citing concerns about traffic and essentially saying they wanted to send a message that development in the county needs to slow down. Community members we spoke with were also divided.
Many of us in the community have talked about how nice it would be if there were some smaller shops, like coffee shops or a breakfast shop, that place that we could all walk to, wouldn't have to get in the car to drive to, that we could just walk across the street.
Well, right now it's already, this hospitals, the schools is overwhelmed.
Now, the entire Northstar project covers 433 acres. The commercial aspect would be 13 acres, but it's unclear at this point which businesses exactly would be coming here. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Christina. An agreement between Wicomico County and Immigration and Customs Enforcement is inching closer to becoming a done deal. Tonight, Wicomico County Council will decide whether they'd like to vote on this matter or leave it in the hands of County Executive Julie Giordano. Should the latter happen, Giordano says she will move this forward. In fact, she says she could sign the deal by the end of the week. Critics of the idea are not pleased with that possibility.
Well, to me, it's a prime example of how the citizens are not being listened to.
From what I have seen, and I have talked to the sheriff about this as well, we have gotten more of a positive outreach to us, more so than a negative.
Should Wicomico County Council put this to a vote, a decision wouldn't happen, though, until their next meeting. That's October 21st at the earliest.
It's been a day of solemn commemorations for the victims of the Hamas terror attack on Israel. That attack happened 2 years ago today. Hamas militants killing more than 1,200 people and took 250 hostages.
It launched a 2-year war, which has left much of Gaza leveled and 67,000 Palestinians dead.
But NBC's Melanie Zanona shows us how tonight there is some hope that peace can be achieved.
In Washington, a solemn vigil, remembering the victims who died 2 years ago and those still being held today.
On October the 7th, 64 of my friends and my neighbors were brutally murdered, and 19 were brutally kidnapped.
Hamas freed American-Israeli hostage Keith Siegel after holding him for 16 months.
The brutality we endured still haunts me. The images of medieval torture, the echoes of suffering, they do not fade.
October 7th, 2023, Hamas militants poured into Israel during a stunning attack, killing 1,200 people and dragging more than 250 hostages into Gaza. Victims remembered across Israel this morning and gathering outside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home in Jerusalem.
It's been raging for a long time, and I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East.
President Trump again sounding optimistic that a peace deal is near. U.S. negotiators are in Egypt, discussing the president's 20-point peace deal, pushing talks between the Israelis and Hamas to end the war that has raged ever since. President Trump's plan would drive Hamas from power and free the 48 hostages Hamas is still holding, 20 believed to be still alive.
We are going to do everything possible. We have a lot of power, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure everybody adheres to the deal.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle also paying tribute to the victims.
We have to remember what October 7th marks. It was a massacre.
2 years later, it's incredibly important that every single hostage is returned and returned at the same time.
Palestinians in Gaza also longing for an end to the war. Local medical officials say more than 67,000 Gazans have been killed in Israeli attacks.
Several top White House officials and cabinet members met with former hostages and their families for a breakfast here in Washington this morning. And those families urged the Trump administration to continue fighting for the release of all the October 7th hostages. Melanie Znona, NBC News, Washington.
Installing safety railing along Salisbury's Riverwalk is starting to get some legs, the new development that's put the idea a step closer to reality.
And we have some late rain arriving on our doorstep close to the midnight hour, a little bit after. I'll track how long those showers will stick around.
But first, fighting erosion on Thompson Island, what the project includes and what's next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Barriers are being put in the water off of Thompson Island in the Rehoboth Bay. That's what you're seeing right here. These are protective measures. DENREC and the Delaware Center for the Inland Bays installing 400 devices to help fight erosion. The concrete barriers are meant to calm waters close to the coast of Thompson Island. The project designer says Mother Nature will not move these cement structures.
There's absolutely no storm event that's going to move these. It just won't happen. It's in this bay, you can't get enough energy. So these are going to be here for generations.
The first phase of the project nearing completion this week. It's $1 million. The Delaware Center for the Inland Bay says 4 phases need to be done, but they still need money for the rest of it.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're watching out for wet conditions for us for Wednesday, but should clear out in time for us on Thursday with some sunshine. But then we're going to only reach the 60s. Let's talk about how a cold front's going to change the whole game around when your full forecast returns. So we're starting to already see early evidence of the moisture content in the atmosphere going up on the high side because we're getting more in the way of low clouds, lots of moisture. We've even seen some condensation on the lens with our Boardwalk Plaza camera in Rehoboth Beach, with winds pushing primarily out of the south at about 13 miles per hour. 69 degrees. That's where we'll end up by late tonight, 9 o'clock. But the rain probably will hold off until midnight or a little bit after midnight. And when it arrives, it's going to come through and stick around for a while, at least for a day. 77 degrees right now. Milton, Longneck, Lewis, Millsboro, and Salisbury at this hour. We're clear for now. Won't stay that way. And here's a wide view. Listen, by midnight, our first model is indicating we'll see some scattered showers slide in here as early as 12:30. Early morning hours, and then we'll see some isolated thunderstorms possibly by 6 o'clock, and it'll slide through quickly and supposedly be out of the way by 3 o'clock. This has moved up in a timeline here with the latest run. Now, overnight, we're looking for rain with winds out of the south-southwest. Will drop to 50 degrees even or slightly below in some areas. So it'll be a cool start. Then throughout the day, we're looking for scattered showers. Most of this rain, I'll say this again, most of this rain will hit before lunchtime and should dwindle off by about 1, 2 o'clock at the latest. So it's an early morning concern we have. So we have 8 o'clock scattered showers sliding through, and then after 8 o'clock, it moves out of the way pretty quickly for us and efficiently. Now, also, we see those scattered showers sliding through and are out of the way by 9 o'clock for the beaches, and then we see another advanced movement of the scattered showers popping through in Rehoboth, but the winds are going to really pick up. You see those arrows that you see, and they're so dense? That's indicating it's going to be stronger winds, like in excess of 30 miles per hour occasionally. Now, as far as the amount of rain is concerned, it's been readjusted to include 1/4 inch of rain, the green, up to just over 1/2 inch, the blue. But we initially thought it would be a whole lot more, but the rain and the storms are picking up momentum, so it won't have as much time to drop off as much rain to accumulate. But here's the big change. The winds are out of the south and then out of the southwest by lunchtime Wednesday, and then they turn directions totally out of the north by Wednesday night, and that's when the cold, crisp air will step in behind that rain. And then Saturday, we see scattered showers going into Sunday and Monday, so we're looking at the back end of a low-pressure system off of the water. We'll keep a close eye on that because as you take a look at what's happening with Jerry out here, continuing to surge out here and push on through, and it's expected to be upgraded to a Category 1 hurricane, but expected to slide away from the coast and not expect a direct hit. So in summary tonight, 68 degrees, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, isolated early downpours in 71, 64 sunshine on Thursday. And finally, here's a look at your extended forecast.
Paul, thank you. Salisbury City Council is considering the potential adding of railings to the Riverwalk. Councilwoman April Jackson has supported adding the railings to the downtown area, especially after a body was found in the water this summer. Now, right now, the Riverwalk in Salisbury, you see it here, does have life rings. Last night, the topic on the agenda, Jackson led that discussion. Council didn't dismiss the idea. They did discuss insurance concerns and how much of the river would be under the city's jurisdiction. Yolanda Price, who lives in Salisbury, is in favor of it.
You can find the money to make sure the people that stay here be safe. And then maybe people come from other places, come here and want to come and walk, can also be safe. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Salisbury City Council plans to look into which areas would be receiving potential railings and what would work best for safety.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6:30, Cape hosts Sussex Academy in boys soccer, then the final score at 10:30 p.m. Along with the soccer match, you can watch these exclusives on DSN+. Delmar visits Smyrna in field hockey at 6. More field hockey when Cape travels to Sussex Academy. And coming up after the break, how a Rehoboth Beach restaurant group has earned an award for how it supports its staff. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5. The Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control has established a new recreational catch limit for spot fish. DENREC says the possession limit for spot fish has been established at 50. According to the most recent spot fish assessment, the population of the fish is dropping. There are two exceptions. Charters and head boats can have more than 50 per vessel. And the other says that moving to and from one recreational spot to another, you can have more than 50 spot fish per angler. The effects of the government shutdown causing air traffic controllers to work, but they're not getting paid. That has led to a large number of sick outs and staffing shortages. 12 FAA facilities saw shortages Monday night. In Burbank, California, it got so bad, the control tower had to shut down.
Here's a live look into Ocean City. One more check on your forecast after this. La Vida Hospitality is being recognized for its commitment to supporting mental health. The restaurant group says they are now the third restaurant in Delaware to earn a gold level award through the Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health's Restaurant Accolade Program. Now, this is what it means. The award goes to restaurants that have policies that support their employees battling substance use. The division says this program is designed to provide tools and training to address those challenges within the workplace.
I think that anything that takes away any kind of stigma and puts out in the open problems that there are solutions for is an advancement for any industry.
About 278 restaurants have achieved some level of the Accolade program so far, according to the division.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, a speed camera coming to Route 1 when it's going to start charging speeders.
Ooh, keep that in mind. Okay, Ocean City right now, we're right at 73 degrees. Now, as far as we're concerned, we do have an active small craft advisory for us off the coast. Keep that in mind, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Michael Renner of Frankfurt, congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by simply calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We're expecting rain for late tonight, going into early tomorrow morning and most of Wednesday.
All right, Paul, thank you. And thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.